Hi and welcome to the Time Machine with RC Copter. Today I'm going back into the time, This is my very first transmitter I was buying together with my first helicopters. So this is not my very first, but my first M2 EVO I was buying in June 2022. Why I'm going back in the past is because my real transmitter, the FrSky X14S, is still at the dealer. They found the problem, one cable was damaged by the case, a little bit pressed by the case, and one cable, the green cable from the gimbal, is pressed. So they are now working on the best possibility how to repair it, if they repair the whole gimbal, only the cable. So, and I'm waiting still. And when I was sending my radio, I wanted to continue to fly, and I came back to this radio. This is my very first thing. I was even inventing something. I have a normal kitchen watch. This is replacing the timer, which is not built in. So I have a display on my TX. That was my way to time my batteries. And this transmitter is very, very simple. And now that I'm flying it, I see the difference, and it's a really astonishing difference also between the OFS2 flight controller in this helicopter, because this is only working with the OFS2 flight controller, because in this flight controller it is different than the OFS3 from the new M2 V3 Pro and the M2 EVO MK2, because it still has this little antenna, and it has the OFS2 software, the OMP protocol, which binds directly with these helicopters. So you have a little bind button on the helicopter, you switch on the radio, and it's bind forever with this OMPHOBBY protocol. And going back to this, while flying, you see there's a lot of less precision, because already in the OMPHOBBY protocol, as well in the transmitter, it's the ready-to-fly transmitter, it is quite cheap. There is some deadband built in, so you never have such crispy inputs and results on the helicopter like with the new radio I have now, and with the Radio Master before, with the programmable. And the other problem is you have 3 flight modes, and the head speeds are already programmed into the OMPHOBBY protocol. You don't have the possibility to adjust the head speeds. If it is too high or if it is too low, you cannot change it. You cannot change anything, to be honest. You can change the pitch degrees in the flight controller, but in this radio you cannot change anything. And this was in the beginning, of course, making everything much easier for me, because I didn't have to think about programming. But now, when I'm going back in this time machine, in the time to the year 2020 and 2021 and 22, I see really the difference in the flight performance. For normal flying around, this is okay. You always have to give a little bit more stick input than you think, because there is this deadband, there is a little bit expo, but it's possible to fly. So I show you this in the flight, but the evolution is really, really unbelievable. So let's fly. So every input I have to give, for instance, forward now or coming back, is stronger than expected. Even in high rates, I have on this radio 3 different rates: low rate, mid rates and high rates. But even in this high rates, there's always left a little bit expo. But you can see that it's possible to fly smooth. And now in this moment, I'm doing this, what with which I had so much fun in the beginning. Just to see my helicopter fly in the air, it is looking even beautiful in front of this autumn trees. It is possible, of course, to try to fly a little bit precise. I bring it now over these brown places where wild pigs were digging in the grass, and I try to hold it there. It is possible, but because of the fact that I don't know exactly when the helicopter will start to react, I'm having now used to a better and more advanced radio. I'm having the tendency to overreact. I can also do small loops. I do them high now for safety reasons, because the collective pitch management with this radio, with Expo and many other things that are making the helicopter react slower than usual, is not really easy. And especially I would not recommend for a pilot who's not a very good pilot, such as I am. If you change the radios, you have to really readjust. I hope this will be only for a couple of days more, because it does not make sense. I don't want to get used to this radio again. It's just so that I can use these last couple of autumn days to fly a little bit around with this machine, but it is not the same. And I can show you even this here. When you remember when I was doing something, I'm now really moving the sticks a lot. So especially the M2 EVO MK2, the same helicopter except the new geometry on the swash plate, and especially the main reason, the difference from the OFS 2, which is in this helicopter, to the OFS 3, which is also in the M2 V3 Pro. This makes the big difference, because the reaction of the helicopter is much more crispy. When I do the same, you hear fap, 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 fap. It's a very sharp, and now I'm doing sharp movements, but they are so filtered by this flight controller that it is not, for me, not recommended, because of course the same expo and the same deadband I have also in the collective pitch and in the tail. So this is my egg watch. I'm stopping her now because we heard. This was my way to measure the flight time. And I was always trying the flight time with a cell meter. I would also recommend you this to check your batteries after flight. So I'm now coming in for the landing. For instance, finding the right spot for landing with this transmitter is not easy. So that was a flight. So the difference between the OFS 2, Jonas was explaining it very good in the video I made with him about the secrets of the OMPHOBBY V3 Pro. I will link it in the description. And together with this very simple my first radio, are unbelievable, and they show really the evolution I experienced myself as a pilot and as a client. This helicopter was great. I was beginning with the M2 Explorer. It had also the OFS 2 flight controller system, also with the OMP protocol, also flown with this transmitter. For 2 years, this transmitter was my friend, my daily accompany. And but the difference from this helicopter from the V1, it was the M2 V1 and the Explorer, to the EVO was already big, because we have here a bigger tail rotor than it was on the M2 V1. That was causing much less tail noise. The M1 V1 had something like zzz, 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 like drones, the sound, and this was like a humming. So that was the big improvement. The power is bigger. Then we introduced the MK2, and all these helicopters can now really only be flown, should be only flown with a programmable radio. Since the introduction of the OFS3 flight controller, there's no possibility this radio cannot be used with this helicopter, because you always need your own receiver, and it is such another performance level that with this radio it would not make even sense. So this radio is not even produced. This is a historical radio, not anymore produced. The new RTF versions are always coming with a little receiver, and with the programmable radio, it's the pocket radio or radio master pocket radio, and it is very good because the performance level is really different. Now we have this OFS3, and I went today through this difference. There's also another difference. When you look at these sticks, they have also almost no spring tension, and all cheaper radios, this radio was very cheap to buy, have this same thing. And at least for more advanced flying, I need more spring tension to feel the mid position, especially here when I'm on the tail and when I'm on the collective pitch. So everything improved, and this is really astonishing. The whole evolution history of the flight controller, of the airframes, everything has grown up on these M2, and the M2 is a great story, a great example for continuous evolution and revolution even. And I was growing with these helicopters, so I could never go back for a long time to this kind of transmitter. This is just a solution until I have my loved radio back. I hope it will be soon, because it's already some time at the dealer. So this shows that the time goes forward, and only in the time machine, when we are going back, we see how much we have benefit of all these technological steps, improvements. My flying was improving also because the helicopters were improving. So, and to the end, we have still a surprise for you. And the surprise is I am driving to my field, and now today with my wife, my lovely camera woman, we are always driving through this forest and this street. And I love the view in autumn of these leaves. Every tree has a different color. So, and I'm always happy when I'm flying to my field and when I'm returning. Sometimes there's a strong wind. So that was our surprise. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, give us a like. If you like it very much, subscribe to our channel, and see you on RC Copter. Bye.